Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. So today we're asking a simple question of how to heal my inner child. So it's a complicated subject but a simple question. So the aim of this reading is that I help nudge you in the right direction. It's not going to give you a clear-cut answer. If you follow these instructions, everything will be all right. No, I'm afraid it's a more complicated journey than that. But these readings will hopefully give you something to ponder on, to think about in the journey of life. In the journey of letting go of the things that have harmed us and embracing the things that will do us good. So I've set up 3 readings. As you can see, we've got 1, 2 and 3 signified by the candle, the pencil and the lip balm. So I will put the timestamps in the description box and pin them as the top comment. All the information on the decks will be in the description box and any other links that you might want. So have a look there. If you have any questions or queries, just email me on oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com and I will get right back to you. So I want you to close your eyes, take a few deep breaths, relax, and open yourself up to the question. How do I heal my childhood? How do I connect to my inner child? How do I heal my inner child? Whichever feels right for you. And when you feel ready, make your choice. Don't doubt yourself, don't overthink it, just trust your instincts. And when you've made your choice, go ahead and click on the timestamp. If you need a little bit more time to do that, then please go ahead and press pause because I'm now moving on to the readings. Okay, those of you that chose number 1, that's the little red tea light, bit of dust in it. Let's see how you can deal with your distress over childhood or with whatever issues have gone on in your childhood. So we start off with the Page of Swords, Acorn's Invitation, that's touch, exchange and connection, and containment. Okay, so this is a clear message. The issues that you have, the way that you can start to deal with the issues from the past, from your childhood, to heal your inner child, however it resonates for you, is I don't think you've really talked about what's happened, or at the very least how it's affected you. People may be aware of your childhood, but you haven't really come out and said, well, actually it's done this to me. And it's all bubbling up inside you. This is you. It's a phrase we use here in England, is you're bottling it all up. And the meaning is that, like, if you have fizzy pop, you know, things get bottled up in, the fizzy pop goes into the bottle, but if it gets shaken, it can explode. If it's not in a sufficient container, it will blow up and the fizzy cola or lemonade or whatever will everywhere. And really that's sort of what's happening with you. It's bubbling up within you. You're not talking about it and it's just constantly there within you, churning away inside you, never really letting you go. And this is no way to live. This is not healthy for you. It's not good for you. So you have to, even, I feel that you might be admitting this to yourself, some of you. Others of you, you're not really admitting it to yourself. But a lot of you are quite aware that your childhood, doesn't mean that your childhood was traumatic, by the way. It doesn't mean that it was full of abuse. It just means that the way that you were raised wasn't conducive to the life you would like to live now. You know, you've got those issues around it. And because of that, because it's sort of a conflict with who you are now, who you want to be now, you're struggling and it's churning away. But for those of you where it's not been the best childhood, you still haven't dealt with a lot of the things that happened in it. And now's the time that you need to start making connections with other people. It's about exchanging what's happened, because the Page of Swords is about talking, coming out in a small way. It's all very fresh, but coming out and communicating in a new way. But it's also about the revealing of a secret. This is why I've got the feeling that basically none of you have really talked about what happened when you're a kid. As I say, it doesn't mean that it's awful. You know, if you're looking back and saying, well, nothing awful happened, that's all right. But there's something, you know, niggling away at some of you, and others of you, you know, it's time to let out perhaps something that happened to you. Now, that doesn't mean you have to just start telling people in the street. You don't have to start a blog or a vlog or do anything like that. It can be booking an appointment with a counsellor, a therapist, a psychiatrist, a psychologist, somebody who's trained to help you deal with these issues and tease them out and sort of help you in a responsible way to come to terms either with your past or to accept it, or, you know, to heal from it, to move on from it, to stop it influencing your life in a negative way, because the aim is to move forward positively and lead a healthy life. So that's your message. How can you deal with whatever's causing you pain from your childhood? Is to start letting it out, to start talking to people about it. And that's it. So I'm going to leave that there with you and leave you to think about it. Now, you must always remember that you are in charge of your life, that you can decide what to do with this information. It's entirely up to you, and when you do it. So if you're not ready for this, that's fine. Just take your time, slowly move towards it, and when you feel ready, then you'll be able to come forward and start connecting with people. But just be aware that this containment situation, as long as you contain it, but it's still bubbling away. So it's sort of, you're safe, you know, at the moment, but it's still bubbling away. And what ideally you want is the cauldron not to be, you know, to be just sort of not on fire and sort of placid. But this is all up to you. It's your journey. You take it at a pace that you're comfortable with. So, wish you all the best of luck in the world. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, those of you that chose number 2, the pink pencil, this is your reading. So how can we help you, I'm trying to give you advice so you can move forward and heal from any childhood pain or difficulties. So this is just advice to nudge you in the right direction. So we start off with the 6 of Pentacles. Cry for nature, mourning for something sacred which seems lost. And scrying mirror, shadow. Okay, so this seems relatively simple. The message is that you need to come to terms with something that was either lost. You know, it's like pain over growing up almost. She's crying because the tree has been cut down. I feel that some of you might be upset because you're at the phase of life where you're no longer young and you're getting older. You know, it could be a transitional phase, like you're going into the world of work for the first time. You've left school, you left education, and now you're in the big world, and you got to, you know, and it can be traumatic. It can be destabilizing actually. And for others of you, yeah, there's something, you know, maybe you lost someone during your childhood and you haven't really dealt with it. You know, childhood is great, but it's also the point where you have things happen to you for the first time, and that's really painful. When painful things happen to you for the first time, it hurts more. When subsequent things happen, you deal with it in a much better way, because you've got the experience of it. But childhood, when it happens first, it really hurts. But you need now, in order to deal with this cry for nature situation, something which seems lost. Well, you had it, so that's what you need to value and appreciate, that you had it at all, because it could be what you've lost some people never get to have. you need to deal with it, because we've got the Six of Pentacles and the Scrying Mirror, and they're sort of saying vaguely the same message. Six of Pentacles is about balancing out. It's about giving what you can, but not giving too much. You know, equal give and take. She's done well in society. She's well clothed, fed, got a good home. So she has some money to give away to charity to those less fortunate. It's balancing out the good and the bad within us. You know, the assumption that it's good to give but bad to keep. It's bad to be selfish but good to be generous. Well, the reality is we all have to be selfish on some level, otherwise we'd have nothing. You know, it's no good going without so somebody else goes with and they have more than you. And the Scrying Mirror is about looking in the mirror and seeing the negative side and accepting it. It's about knowing who you really are and accepting the negative as well as the positive, accepting your shadow side. So there's a real need here for you to accept, I want to say, like a new reality, that youth is gone. Now you've got adulthood. Whoever was lost has gone, but there are new people coming into life. It's that sort of... And if there's a feeling here of mourning for something sacred which seems lost, there's a feeling here that I get that maybe some of you are regretful of how you were in childhood. Maybe you weren't the best kid for whatever reason. Maybe you could have, you didn't make the best of things. Maybe you didn't take advantage of every opportunity that you've ever had. Or, you didn't get the opportunities that everyone else seemed to have. That's all fine. What you need to do now is accept that you have opportunities now that you can make the best of, and forgive yourself for the things that you have done wrong. It seems here that what needs to be done is a lot of inner work of maturity and accepting things for what they are, and accepting that you can move on from them and do better next time and not repeat the same mistakes and progress. If you feel this is you always accepting charity, one day you will be the grown-up giving out the charity. Your relationships will improve, your economy, your finances, your career, they'll all improve, and one day you'll be able to give generously. A nice simple message. You've got to accept the darkness of something. If it's not within you, it's the darkness of something in your childhood. You have to accept that it's happened in a way. It's really weird. I just feel that there's an acceptance of grief. You've got to go through the grief and accept that it's over and then move forward. So I hope that's helped you. And I want you to remember that you are in control of your life. It's up to you how you live it. And if this is a journey that takes a lot, you can't do this in one day. Do it when you're ready. If you're not ready for this yet, then that's fine. Take baby steps, take slow steps. The important thing is that you achieve it. It doesn't matter how long it takes for you to achieve it. It really doesn't. So do it at your own pace, do it in your own way, and find the balance within yourself between the light and the dark. So I'm going to leave you with that. Please take very good care of yourself. I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay then, so last but not least, number 3, the lip balm, or the lip butter as it says on it. How can we help you deal with your inner child, heal your inner child and all the anguish that comes with what happened to you as a kid, or what your childhood was like? So this is just a nudge in the right direction to give you something to think about. So let's start off with the Hanged Man. Glimpse, indigo, rainbow, crystal children and beyond. And the High Priestess, High Priest, responsibility. So a nice clear message here is basically the message is it's time for you to take responsibility for what's gone on. So if your childhood has really hung over your adult life, it's sort of on you, because we all have to take responsibility as adults for the direction of our life. Sometimes that means having to deal with the way our parents raised us that wasn't the best, or wasn't conducive to how we want to be now. And that's difficult, but when we become adults, we become responsible for ourselves. We can't blame everything on what happened when we were kids. It's the reason that we are the way we are. But then at some point, some of it takes longer than others, that's fine. But we realise that we're the ones that are making things happen in our life. And so if we don't want things to be the way we are, we have to change the way we are and what we do. So that our childhood is our foundation in life, and it's the life lessons we have. It teaches us how to be adults and who to be as adults. And we can merrily go on and do that and be that. But if we're unhappy, we have to, at some point, as I say, go, well, okay, I was raised to be like that, raised to think like this, raised to behave like this, but actually it's not doing me any good whatsoever, and now I need to change. And I feel that that's the phase that a lot of you are in, is that it's now up to you to deal with what the problems are. Because I feel at the moment, there's this tree represents to me your childhood, and you're hiding behind it. It's like you're being absolved of responsibility because, this happened to me when I was a kid, so I can't handle this is why I can't handle what's going on at the moment, because of what happened when I was a kid. And I have sympathy with that and empathy with that, but it's just making you weaker. It's just making you frailer, and it's not allowing you to be a confident, empowered person that can succeed in life, even if it's only in one section of your life. So it's responsibility. There's both, those two cards are saying the same thing. It's taking responsibility and making yourself the authority in your own life and in this, situation of dealing with your childhood. The Hanged Man is telling me that it's going to take a while, because it's a hanged man. He's stuck there for quite a while. He's being forced to stop and think. So you have to stop and suspend things in the best way you can, obviously, in order for you to sit back and think, to ponder on things, to process what's happened, and to formulate a new way forward. And this could involve thinking, original plans, thinking about things differently, taking a different perspective on your childhood. Maybe you're always looking at your childhood with child's eyes, whereas you're an adult now, and maybe you can look back and think and see your childhood through the eyes of an adult who has more experience of the world and of people, and can perhaps understand decisions made in a much more mature way. Rather than being stuck behind it, you can move to the front of it and move out of the forest. But I feel that a lot of you are suspended because of this, and it's you can get yourself out of it. Yeah, you might be stuck for a bit longer whilst you start the work. It's like if you're caught in a trap, you don't immediately escape it when you decide you want to escape it. You escape the trap when you take action to get out of it. And I feel that's what you have to do. And a large part of it is something to do with you accepting responsibility. So for some of you, that might mean that you decide what the next course of action is, what's going to be best for you, to find your options so that you can make a decision about what your future is going to be. That you start doing the research and saying, actually, I think this is a good choice for me and I'm going to take it. But it will take time, so don't worry about it. If it, I've said to everybody in this video, and I'll finish, because this is finished now. I'll finish off with this. You are in control. You really are. You've got the responsibility and the control in your life to decide which direction it's going to move in. And this journey can take as long as you need it to. If you're not ready to start this work just yet, that's fine. You can take a bit of time to do it. You can do it on your schedule, but it needs to be done if you're going to move on from this childhood of yours, whatever's happened in it, big or small. So yeah, it's up to you. You're in control. you can decide how long it's going to take, and you can decide what the future is going to hold for you and what action you're going to take. So I wish you all the best of luck with this. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye.